Today is a special day. Well, tomorrow is actually a special day. This is a special week. Stranger Things episode 1 of season 5, the finale season. The final season starts tomorrow. I'm pumped. We've been hyping this thing up. We should get like some sort of royalty for like promoting Stranger Things as much as we have.
Yeah, because that's what they need.
Without us, they wouldn't be
people with 5 views an episode.
Yeah, they wouldn't be successful without us. But I think I'm very excited. It's an event at our house. My mom's gonna come over tomorrow night, and watch it with us. You know, my wife and I and the kids. So it'll be good. Are you planning to watch it tomorrow?
Does it come out at midnight?
No, I don't think so. I think it just comes out like tomorrow, and you can watch it anytime tomorrow, as far as I know.
Let's see. Season 5 of Stranger.
Like I think it just comes out presumably tonight at midnight.
No.
On Netflix. No?
It will be 5 p.m. PST, so 7 p.m. your time.
Oh, okay. Huh. Okay, well, that's good to know.
4 episodes will be released all at once.
Yeah, I knew
and
that.
Then 3 episodes will be released on Christmas.
And then one on New Year's.
The final episode will be New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I am pumped. Well, today we've got an episode that
pumped. You know what else gets you pumped up? Alcohol. So that's what we're talking about today.
Yes, Brad is correct. This is a good time to do another alcohol episode. We've done one before, but given that we are approaching the holidays, for all intents and purposes, we are in the holiday season. Given that fact, alcohol is a big part of it for a lot of people, and one of the concerns that a lot of people have is, how do I enjoy alcohol without undoing my progress? How can I just, whether it's a glass of wine or whatever it is you enjoy drinking, how do I fit this in to my day? And a lot of people might not even necessarily just the holidays, just like how do I fit alcohol in general and make it work. And so we're going to dive into this episode. Will contain several things. We're going to talk about what is alcohol, like from a chemical standpoint and nutrition standpoint. What does it do in the body? What are its effects? Right? How does the body metabolize it? And then how can we make sure that we, like I said, enjoy it without undoing the progress that we've made? Because you can enjoy alcohol and certainly in moderation and without ruining your progress, and you can still make progress consuming alcohol. So you just have to be smart about it. So we're going to dive into all of that, give you guys some tips and practical strategies to employ through the holidays, but also beyond. So we are right now, again, in that stretch. I mean, what, two days is Thanksgiving. What alcohol, if any, is typically in your household during Thanksgiving, just out of curiosity?
It's usually like red wine.
Yeah.
And like cocktails or like whiskey is usually what it is.
Yeah, for where I go, I mean, we just go over to typically my in-laws, but red wine is like the big one. And actually, it sucks because I can't drink red wine anymore. I just get a massive headache. But I actually do like red wine, but I just can't do it. But I think regardless of what you're drinking, for most people, alcohol isn't really the problem. It's kind of a, it's this lack of understanding.
It's the solution, but
well, we did say that last week. Alcohol makes. I said it makes Thanksgiving more tolerable, and you said, well, it just makes it tolerable. Which
did you get my joke? Because alcohol is chemically considered a solution.
Oh, I see now. That's pretty good.
Ooh.
So, we are going to let's start with this. Here's let's just define what alcohol is. It's ethanol, right? Alcohol is ethanol. So take your your scientific background, Bradley, and tell us what is alcohol fundamentally, and then maybe you can walk us through sort of what happens when alcohol is consumed, and then we can take it from there.
Um, I mean, alcohol is a broad term for like a class of molecules, right? It basically refers to a type of chemical structure. Um, the one that we typically think of when we think of drinking alcohol, it's ethanol, right? You just kind of mentioned that. But there are other alcohols, like there's methanol, there's isopropanol, and there's propanol. Like those are kind of the four main ones, and they're all like they're chemically a little bit similar but different. And in fact, if you ingest the other kind, it's
That's
really
yeah.
bad for you.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but ethanol is the one that we consume, and what most people know about alcohol is it's considered a toxin, right? Pretty much at any dose, primarily because our body doesn't store it, and there's no like beneficial effects of alcohol from like a biological perspective, right? The joke that we had last week was alcohol makes the holidays tolerable for some people. But like the reality is, whenever we consume alcohol, it has deleterious effects on our health, and so our body has to process it. And the short version of all of the chemistry is our body ends up breaking down alcohol in our liver, and it breaks it down into other chemicals like smaller chemicals, and then we usually excrete those in our urine, right? Broadly speaking, alcohol actually starts being absorbed in our mouth. Some of it even gets absorbed through the lining of our stomach, and then the rest gets absorbed in our intestines. And then it kind of travels around the bloodstream. The effects that you really feel are when it crosses the blood-brain barriers in your brain, and that's where you get the you know the reduction of inhibitions. It's a depressant, all of those things. You get all the effects, and then your body starts to metabolize it as it comes out of its body, um, out of your body. And so the big things from like a biology chemistry perspective is your body does begin to prioritize alcohol metabolism over some of the other things. So like specifically carbohydrates and fats. So when you consume a meaningful amount of alcohol, you actually do get a reduction in oxidation of your other nutrients, carbohydrates and fats. Now the ratio differences is not really that important, but what really matters is like the total amount of oxidation of carbohydrates and fats decreases a little bit due to consuming alcohol. And that persists for hours and sometimes even like up to a day afterwards.
We talk about alcohol inhibiting fat metabolization, right? Um,
Yeah.
that does stop, at least temporarily, when your body's trying to get the alcohol out by trying to metabolize the alcohol, correct?
It What do you mean by it stops?
Well, like the alcohol takes priority. Like your body won't, like that's its main priority. And so when we talk about, well, alcohol makes you stop burning fat.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Um so I mean the reality is depending on how much you consume, um your oxidation of fat will decrease. There's a bunch of studies that have been done. I mean, it probably decreases it by, depending on how much you consume, 10 to 50% for a couple hours after you drink it. Like here's a graph from one study, and I gotta go find. I could find the original study. See if I can find it. So this was a study where they had people consume ethanol, and then they actually also gave one arm of the participants IV glucose and the other ones they didn't. But you can see like fat oxidation decreases pretty substantially, especially with IV ethanol use, right? I mean, this is like a huge drop. There's some like specifics about this study and why it was a little bit lower, but the reality is like you get a meaningful drop in fat oxidation for a short period of time for a couple hours after you consume booze, and that's just your body like shifting substrate metabolism. Mostly it happens in your liver too. Like that's a big thing because most alcohol is metabolized, if not all alcohol is metabolized in your liver.
Yeah. If you is there this is I know this is kind of like maybe a pointless question, but just out of curiosity, is there any type of alcohol that if you were to drink you would like for sure die? Is there any like death sentence?
Yes, like if
Like
you
what's one of
consume a
them?
meaningful amount of methanol,
Mm-hmm.
if you consume like isopropyl alcohol, rubbing
Okay.
alcohol,
Okay.
like
Right.
a lot of those things will kill you,
Hmm.
especially in like meaningful quantities. And I'm not sure about the other types of alcohol, but I know the main reason that methanol is so poisonous is the byproducts that your body makes when you metabolize methanol is different than when you metabolize alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's the byproducts that are actually like super poisonous. And so the cure for methanol poisoning, like if you ingest methanol, which can happen, like people can ingest it on purpose, or methanol is used in a lot of like industrial engines.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if you're working on something, it gets sprayed in your
Oh,
mouth and you
right.
swallow it.
Can be bad. Yeah.
They actually just give you ethanol. Like they will give you IV
Oh.
ethanol or make you drink a bunch of vodka.
Oh, interesting.
Because what happens is the alcohol will outcompete the methanol for the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. So your body will use that enzyme to break down the alcohol preferentially, and then the whole molecule of methanol will eventually get peed out through your system over a couple days. So basically,
Hmm.
they just keep you drunk for days at a time.
Huh. That's interesting. What when we hear about and we don't the episode doesn't have to go this direction entirely because I'm not like I'm not trying to scare people, but the more alcohol you drink, the more your liver is at risk for disease, right? Like I think that's pretty well known. You know, you have alcoholic hepatitis, stuff like that. Why is this? Is it just because that's where the like I mean, what happened? Like, what's the process by which like the liver just gets diseased because of the alcohol? Like, it just is it because it's just hard for the liver to metabolize alcohol? It just puts strain on it. Like, what's the mechanism behind that? Like, why we what causes it?
So I'm not a hepatologist, right? So I don't have all of the details of this because I haven't spent that much time looking into it. But here's kind of the gist of it is, I mean, alcohol is definitely a toxin and causes damage to the cells that it
Mm-hmm.
uh, basically ends up in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since almost all alcohol metabolism, meaning like the breakdown of alcohol, occurs in your liver, all the alcohol has to go to your liver and get processed, right? So you've got to think over time, if your liver's just continually processing alcohol, the acetaldehyde that's there, the reactive oxygen species, the inflammation that occurs, like all of that just continues. And if you don't give your liver enough time to like repair the cells, the liver cells in there, the hepatocytes in there, eventually they just accumulate damage, and then that accumulates with with liver disease. The other side of it too is when you continue to basically put the brakes on fat oxidation in your liver, a large part that happens is you also get like ectopic or out of place fat deposits in your liver. Those accumulate over time, right? So there's a condition known as it used to be called non-alcoholic steato or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which then was changed to metabolic associated steatohepatitis, which is basically as you develop greater and greater levels of obesity or it's around longer and you just get metabolic issues, you also get fat accumulation in your liver. It's from a different issue, but it's like kind of the same thing, right? So you end up getting inflammation, poor metabolism, oxidative stress, you get cell damage, you get fibrosis, and then your liver kind of starts to fall off a cliff. Um, and one of the things we know is like the risk of liver disease is very clear in its association with alcohol. I'm going to share this is a graph from a study. These are all figures from the Science of Nutrition Coaching book that we put in there. So it's a little hard to see on here, but basically, consuming like I think the average alcohol in like a single drink is about 14 grams. right? So just, I think that's roughly what it is. I'd have to go double check. But so this is alcohol consumption per week. So 140. Um, so it must be a little bit less than that. Maybe it's like 7 or so, something like that. But or maybe 10. So 1 drink per day, your risk of developing liver disease is probably about 1.2. So you have a 20% increase of developing liver disease over baseline, right? As
One
you
per
go to
one drink per day, you said, is what that
yeah,
shows? Yeah, okay.
as you go to 2 drinks per day, that risk doubles, right? It's like almost 2.3, 2.4. So you're almost 2.5 times as likely to develop liver disease if you drink 2 drinks a day. If you drink 3 drinks a day, it's like almost probably, if we just continue on this chart, like you have
Yeah.
a 4x increase of developing liver disease,
Yeah. Huh.
right? So even 1 drink a day is about a 10% increase. So there is
Mhm.
like no healthy amount of alcohol.
Yeah, right.
Any amount of alcohol increases your risk above baseline. Now, what's the absolute risk, and how much does that actually increase your risk, and is it worth having a drink a day? Like, everybody gets to make that
Yeah,
choice.
right.
But that's the reality of what the data shows.
So I'm glad you brought this up, because one of the things that I wanted to mention was, you know how we've heard that, people in the Mediterranean for years, have shown that, a glass of red wine a day is beneficial. Turns out that that's actually not true, and it probably has more to do with the fact that people in that area, and for centuries, millennia, just did several other more important things, which is that they were more physically active, they maintained a good body weight, they ate mostly good foods, and then therefore that glass of wine didn't really have much of an impact. It's not that the alcohol itself had any effect on them staying healthy. It's, in general, they just lived a healthier lifestyle. Would you say that's kind of the correct picture there?
I'd say that's probably more likely the case, right? A lot of times the argument has been like, hey, they drink a lot of red wine. There's like resveratrol and other, micronutrients in there. But when you go look at the studies, the amount of like resveratrol and some of these other antioxidants, you'd have to consume so much water to get that
Yeah.
amount.
Couldn't you just eat grapes and get the same thing? Like,
I think you'd have to eat a lot of grapes too.
well, that sounds like a healthier option than consuming a ton of
And
alcohol.
I don't know. I've never looked at if the resveratrol is in there from like the process of making wine, like
Yeah.
the fermentation, all that stuff. Honestly haven't looked into that. I don't really drink enough wine or eat enough
Yeah,
grapes
right.
to be really concerned about it. So
What do you think was the first? How do you think humans first came across alcohol? Don't you think it'd be like, to me, the logical thing is like some rotten fruit they ate and then got a little bit messed
yeah,
up on it,
that's probably it.
right? Like,
Probably fermented fruit, fermented
Yeah.
honey, or fermented grains. Right, beer was, I think, the
Yeah,
first
sure.
domesticated use of alcohol, and that goes back like 10,000 plus years. Probably
That's
way further than that.
I have a here. I'm gonna. I like trivia with you. What would you say is the earliest evidence of humans consuming alcohol? Like, how far back would you say, if you had to guess?
I mean, I would say probably 10,000 plus BC. It's probably even later than that.
Where do you think this was found? The
Well,
evidence.
it's in the Middle East.
So the earliest evidence of alcohol consumption, 7,000 to 6,600 BCE in China. The earliest confirmed chemical evidence of alcohol in the world. Archaeologists archaeologists found pottery jars with residue from a fermented beverage made of honey, rice, grapes, and or hawthorn fruit. So China, super interesting.
I feel like that may change as they get more and more of places like Göbekli Tepe,
Oh yeah, true.
because they had a ton of grain there.
Yeah.
And fermenting, like if you take water that has been, like if you want to keep it longer from getting like having bacterial overgrowth, it's like, fermenting it as a way to keep it drinkable.
Yeah.
potable.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of, so what would you say for beer production? Earliest evidence of beer. This one kind of, it seems like where you were kind of hinting at a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it was like, I know that ancient Egypt in like the 5,000, 3,500 BC, there's evidence of that.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, this one, so it does mention Egypt, but even before that, 5,000 to 4,000 BCE in Iran,
Yeah.
evidence from pottery shows early beer production, likely cereal-based, low alcohol, and used for ritual and daily hydration. So,
But I'm also
interesting.
thinking, like, if that's what we have evidence of, it was probably around a long time
a
before
longer,
that.
a long time
Yeah.
before. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then I wrote down Nope, I already asked it. So, yeah. So, how now that we've kind of gone over what it is, what it does in the body, the big question everyone has:
Wow.
how is this going to like impact me? How do I make sure it doesn't, that I don't undo my progress? I think more than anything, we've talked about this several times, is that it's not always really the alcohol itself that is like responsible for people undoing their progress. It's when you consume alcohol, you tend to then consume more, and the more you consume, the more your inhibitions are lowered, your decision making changes, and then from there it spirals out of control, right? So if we for people that are listening and like they want to take away some practical tips or strategies or advice, what would you say to people for navigating the holidays, navigating alcohol, making sure that you can consume it in moderation without having to worry about your decision making thereafter, which can then undo your progress through your habits and behaviors?
I mean, here's how I would do it. And here's like advice I would give my clients. One, decide ahead of time whether you're going to drink or not, right? And if you're not going to drink, then that solves the problem. But if you are, go into it with like a plan, right? Like, how many drinks are you going to have? How many calories is that going to be? Are you also going to kind of like try to predetermine the food choices you make so you're not left to the discretion of your alcohol altered decision making during the meals? Um, those are big things, right? What are the things you're going to do the next day to try to get right back on track? So I think just like the big part is just having a plan. And then also just be smart about the alcohol choices you make, right? Like there's a big calorie difference between a glass of red wine, a vodka soda with
Mm-hmm.
lime,
Right.
A dirty martini,
A
whatever,
margarita.
and a Long Island iced tea,
Yeah.
or a chocolate espresso martini,
Mm-hmm.
or a
Bailey's and something else.
you ever drink Bailey's out of a shoe?
Oh God, what's that
Do
from?
you know what that's from?
No. No.
That's gonna be your homework. You have to look up Old Greg.
Okay. Right. That sounds terrible.
It's
I
the most bizarre YouTube video you've ever seen in your life.
I like Bailey's though. I really do. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It
But
tastes
like,
delicious.
I mean, that's so. Let's just say your plan is, like, let's say Thanksgiving is a 5-hour event for you, right? And you're gonna have 3 drinks. That's reasonable over 5 hours, right? For like a fully grown adult who can make their own choices. If you have like 3 whiskeys over 5 hours, that's probably like 300 to 400 calories.
Yeah,
Right?
that's not gonna be a ton.
But
Yeah.
if you have, 3 fully loaded margaritas, like that could be
1,000 calories or more.
2,100 calories, right?
Yeah.
If you have 3 Long Island iced teas, like you're looking at probably 2,400 calories.
Yeah.
So if you're having 4 Baileys with whatever other like milkshake you're having it with, like that's probably 3,000 calories. And so it's just like try to be cognizant of what you're drinking.
Man, I feel like if you had 3 Long Island iced teas, you'd be taking a nap pretty quickly.
I honestly don't think I've ever had one.
I don't know that I have. I'm sure I have. I don't recall, but I mean, it's like 4 or 5 different types of liquor in there, so it's pretty. It's pretty brutal. I did have some. So I had written down jotted down some tips for strategies around it as well. And you already touched on one, which is just setting a plan ahead of time, choosing your drinks deliberately, and being intentional with it. The other thing I was going to say is starting, like, eat something before you start drinking, right? Because that if you it soaks it up, right? So and also if you have like a bunch of, you don't have to have a bunch, but like eating protein before can have a stabilizing effect on blood sugar to a degree. I don't know how meaningful it is, but just depending on what you've eaten and how much you've eaten can really dampen the effects. So that's one thing. I think the other part is um, just staying hydrated. You know, like for every drink, try to drink some water. That can reduce with your total intake. That can help with your drinking pace. Just stuff like that. So like in addition to what you said, just to maybe try to eat something ahead of time, keep yourself fuller, and try to stay hydrated. So, what about people that want to track during Thanksgiving or just track their alcohol? Right? We know alcohol is its own macro. It doesn't provide anything nutritionally, but 7 calories per gram, right? So we typically advise that you take it out of either fats or carbs, right? So like, you know,
Or both.
if
Just split it.
or both, right?
Yeah.
So just tracking. I mean, if I wanted, if let's say I wanted to track, let's just use wine as the example. I want to track a glass of red wine. How would you track that in your tracker? What would you suggest?
I mean, one, you can just like find the entry in your app and use it that way. Or two, just like take the total calories of it and
Yeah,
just divide it evenly amongst your carbohydrates and your fats. So like let's say it's a 300 calorie glass of wine, 150 of that comes from carbohydrates, which is what, 35, 40 grams of
yeah,
carbohydrates, and the others are from fat. The other 150 is from fat, so that's what's 150 divided by 9? 15, 16, 17. I'd have to do the exact math, but like somewhere in there, and then just attribute that to your macros for the day and call it good. Right now, if you're having something like a Long Island iced tea and there's 100 grams of sugar from all the Coke or soda or whatever's in it, you have to log that, and then you have to log the booze, right? Which is, let's say it's 25 grams of alcohol, which is like like 2 shots, whatever,
yeah,
somewhere around there. Like then you'd have to log that alcohol is on its own, or you can just find like the entry for it in your app, and it should do most of that for you.
yeah. One of the other things I was going to mention too is where people lose progress and kind of see that downfall is, or going backwards. Yeah, losing their progress. You the more you drink, the more likely it is that you get the hangover. Especially the older you get. Like if I had one beer, I don't feel great the next day. But like what happens after you have a hangover is where people can really start to lose progress, right? Because that's when people start eating, things like greasy food. They skip workouts. They have higher calorie meals to cope. They have different cravings. So I think that is something that I think is overlooked. Is if you do drink a lot, it's the next day's effects that can have a negative effect on you too. Which, like I said, I mean, I had a friend in town uh, for a couple days, and I met up with him last night just randomly, and I had a beer. That's all I had. Like we went out to dinner, and like I just had a beer, and I could definitely tell this morning that I had drank. I'm like, all I had was one damn beer. So it's just kind of weird how that like affects you, and like
Welcome
just
to getting old.
yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I don't know what can I say. Let me pull something up real quick. Sorry, I have to.
Do you know what are the things that contribute to the feeling of being hungover?
God, I feel like we did this. I feel like we've talked about this. You're going to mention it, and it's going to come back to me. I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head, but I think we did go over this.
So there's 5 major things that contribute to a hangover. The most obvious one is dehydration, right? When you consume a lot of
Hmm.
alcohol, like unlike caffeine, like alcohol is actually something that causes you to be dehydrated. I think for
Hmm.
every like 4 drinks of alcohol and 250 mils, it's like a liter of urine output. So like it's a pretty
Dang.
big diuretic.
Yeah.
Um, Hypoglycemia. So after you consume a meaningful amount of alcohol, the liver's ability to like regulate glucose is much worse, and so you actually will oftentimes end up with low levels of blood sugar. Unless
Hmm.
you're type 1 diabetic, and then it's a little bit different story.
Uh-huh.
Impaired sleep, right? Alcohol dramatically alters our sleep architecture. So even if you
Yeah.
sleep a long time, you get really poor sleep. I know whenever I have like more than a single drink, like my sleep is terrible. I'm up
Hmm.
every 20 minutes. I don't sleep. It's awful. The metabolites. So this is like red wine has a lot of like
Yes.
sulfites and stuff
Right.
like that that can contribute to it. And then you also get reduced NAD plus levels. So
Nicotine,
nicotinamide,
adenine, yeah.
adenine dinucleotide,
I
which
thought
is
it was
really heavily in it's dinucleotide.
Is it? What's
Yeah.
the dehydrogenase?
That's the NADH,
Isn't that what you just said though? NADH?
NAD plus.
Oh, NAD plus. Excuse me. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why, like, a lot of times people will get IVs after they
Oh, sure.
they
Yeah.
drink, and usually there's like free NAD in there.
Here's a question for you. Knowing what we know about what causes hangovers, is there any surefire cure? We've heard all these things about here's what you can do. Hair of the dog, drink more, it cures it. Like,
I mean,
is there any?
that will help.
Does it actually help? I've never tried it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's just because I don't know the exact science behind it, but I know like it does work. I should look that up.
yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like, I always thought that was just a load of BS, but if that actually works, yeah, ask and see what it says.
Let's see. Why does drinking
Like that just can't be? I feel like that's got to be anecdotal.
It temporarily improves or delays them.
Okay.
It can mask hangover symptoms. It gives the body more ethanol for the liver to metabolize. I don't know. I'll have to do some more digging.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't really explain like why.
I mean, it's probably sort of like why. Like, think about like opiate withdrawal and addiction, right? Like when you go through withdrawal, that when there's no dopamine, you feel terrible. Like
Sure,
you
yeah.
get the shakes, you get fevers, you
Yeah.
get chills, and then you feel super nauseous, and then you take, if you use again, like it fixes it. It's probably similar. I'd have to go do some more digging, find an alcohol expert.
Yeah.
I just know that it's not a strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I just the thought of it, like, just always sounded really awful to me. Like the last thing I wanted to do was drink more, but I've heard it works, so I don't know.
Okay. I pulled this study up because I wanted to figure it out exactly. In a small study of 8 people where they gave them 2 standard drinks, 24 grams of ethanol, so a standard drink must be like roughly 12 grams apparently. How much do you think whole body fat oxidation decreased in like the 60 to 120 minute mark after they consumed alcohol?
Probably pretty close to 100.
70%.
Okay,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Big reduction.
Yeah, that's. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's just, and I think that's probably what gives people again that impression of, oh, I'm not gonna be able to lose fat if I drink alcohol. Like I should avoid it. And obviously, turns out that's not entirely true, but. Yeah, it's pretty.
In the short term, it does.
Yeah. Slightly off topic, but still relevant. Diabetics, do they have to treat alcohol any differently?
Yes, especially type 1 and insulin deficient type 2.
Okay. And this, why? I'm trying to connect the dots there. Like, it obviously must have something to do with the way it's metabolized or how their body metabolizes things.
So generally speaking, I'm trying to remember this because it's been so long since I've studied it. Usually, consuming alcohol if you're a type 1 diabetic has a risk of developing hypoglycemia because your insulin glucagon signaling is already pretty all over the place. And so when you consume alcohol, it makes your liver less likely to pump out glucose, which means you're more likely to develop hypoglycemia. I think that's true. I have to double check that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me confirm. Keep going.
Well, yes, so while you do that, I'm going to ask you, let me type something here.
Yeah. Alcohol is associated with acute hypoglycemia in patients with type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
The more you know.
Here's some questions for you. Some of these are going to be too easy. Like some of them are just ridiculously easy. What is the toxic intermediate compound the body creates when breaking down alcohol? I know it's a softball.
Is it acetaldehyde?
It is, yes. What is the standard amount of pure alcohol in a standard drink in the U.S.?
40%.
We're going for a number in grams.
12 grams?
What'd you say?
12?
Close. 14 grams.
Okay. So that I wasn't sure if it was 12 or 14.
What enzyme is primarily responsible for converting ethanol into acetaldehyde in the liver?
Alcohol dehydrogenase.
Too easy.
And there's a big genetic variance of the type. So there's like ADH1, ADH2. There's different like single nucleotide polymorphisms. And the prevalence of that gene across different like genetic backgrounds.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Roughly what percentage would you say of alcohol is absorbed through the stomach before it reaches the small intestine?
Oh. Hold on. Let me tell you.
No, you can't look stuff up.
20%.
What did you just look up to find that answer?
My book.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, yes. It is 20%.
I have the chapter open in case I needed to pull up any of these graphs.
What would you do if you found out that that's actually not the correct? It was like 50%. Now you'd have to go rewrite everything that you ever knew.
That's true. I would have to rewrite everything I ever knew.
What is the name of the? Yeah, you already answered that one. What is the biochemical reason alcohol? That's too easy for you too. This thing can't come up with hard enough questions. What's the approximate energy loss percentage when the body metabolizes alcohol, i.e., the thermic effect?
Oh God. I have no idea.
Around 10 to 20% of alcohol's calories are lost as heat through thermogenesis.
Okay, I was gonna say it was probably sub 30, but more than 5 or 10.
I do have a few more. These are kind of getting better. What's the scientific term for the Asian flush reaction caused by I can never say that word. Acetaldehyde buildup.
Rosy something.
Nope. Just apparently alcohol flush reaction.
Oh. Yeah, but that's associated with their allele variant in their alcohol dehydrogenase gene.
Okay.
Usually.
Which ancient civilization produced beer so thick that it was consumed with straws to filter out grains and sediment? That sounds awful.
Ancient Egypt?
Ancient Mesopotamians, Sumerians.
Okay.
So, two more. What molecule does alcohol compete with for metabolism when both are consumed, slowing down the process of one of them?
Methanol?
No, the correct answer is lactate, leading to reduced gluconeogenesis and sometimes hypoglycemia.
There you go.
And then lastly, what is the official NIH-defined threshold for women for binge drinking / drinks consumed within what time window?
Oh, God. Is there multiple choice here?
No, but I can give you, let's just say, 2 plus drinks in about 1 hour, 2 plus drinks in about 2 hours, 4 plus drinks in about 1 hour, or 4 plus drinks in about 2 hours.
I mean, what would I consider binge drinking versus the NIH? Probably.
This is what, yeah, for sure.
2 plus drinks in an hour.
It's 4 plus drinks in about 2 hours is what the NIH.
Okay, which is 2 plus drinks in 1 hour.
Well, okay, yes, yes, but this is what they define it. I'm just telling you how they define it. They don't define it per hour.
Just saying.
They don't define it per hour, but I'll give you that one. Yeah, so Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot. Does anyone
I,
else?
so
Go ahead.
this is interesting. I heard this the other day, and I haven't verified the data if this is true or not. So this is me kind of making this up a little bit, but I'll confirm later. Millennial generations and younger generations are drinking less than previous generations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's a larger portion of the population and those generations that is choosing to be non-drinkers than the previous generations.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. In fact, I have a friend that I graduated with. He owns a brewery here in town, and like one of the issues they're facing is they have fewer people coming in now. He's like, and because he's in that industry, like he's talked to other people that are in there. He's like, yeah, dude, like we're seeing a reduction too. So it's a very real thing. And this, I mean, it doesn't spell good things for places like that and for like restaurants that serve alcohol. So, but why do you? I guess the bigger question I have is why do you think that is?
I mean, it is interesting though because, like, I've noticed this at the gym recently too, and maybe it's just because of the. I mean, I literally am at my house, the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
the gym, or GU, and that's it. Like those are the only places I
Mm-hmm.
go. So my
Mm-hmm.
population or my sample size of the
Yeah.
population is much smaller. But I have noticed there's a lot more young people at the gym than there was 15, 20 years ago. Like I used to be the only person who was like 18, 19, 20 at the gym. And now it's like a lot of young people are there, like
Which is
15,
good.
16, 17, 18, 19 year
Yeah.
olds like going to the gym, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you wonder if there's like starting to develop the people who have tried to adopt healthier habits are
Mm-hmm.
much more cognizant and spending more of their time and money on that than previous generations.
Well, do you think it has to do with just? I mean, the obvious answer to me is just that we're much more health conscious now because that's kind of the message that's been out there, and people are just we're educating people more on it, and people are just becoming more aware of it. Like,
Or people are like, if I'm ever going to buy a house, I have to live to 100 to save enough money now.
oh, there's that too. Yeah. Well, actually, but actually, you bring up a good point. I mean, I do suppose some of that is economic. Like, I just can't afford to go out to drink. Like, people don't want to go spend $10 for a drink, when they could, do something else with that money.
Have
I'm
you
sure
ever
that's part
like
of it.
have you ever been at a restaurant and you're like going to order a drink and you just like do the math in your head? You're like, okay, I'm ordering a $14 old fashioned, and they're using
Rail pour.
I mean, they're using like Buffalo Trace
Yeah,
booze, which is like nice, but like you can buy it for like $27 a bottle.
it's
And
not it's not like the great stuff.
and there's 17 drinks in a standard fifth of alcohol. So you're like, okay, so really I'm paying like, I don't know, $1.50, $1.60 at home to have a glass of bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the restaurant, I'm paying $14.
Yeah.
You're like, so you go out to dinner and you're like, I'm not paying 10 times that for somebody else to pour it for me. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's obviously a part of what some people are thinking. I think people are more conscious of that these days. That with the health thing, like you said, the fact that people are going to the gym more. I mean, to me, that's a good thing. But I, it just seems like we're a more health conscious world now.
Yeah, but I would also be interested to see like the usage of performance enhancing drugs too. I think that's gone up a lot.
I'm going to say something maybe controversial here. I don't think that there is nobody that could or that should use those. Like, I think there are certain people that, especially if it's like medically supervised, could actually benefit greatly from,
Oh, 100%.
like typically we view those things as, oh, you're cheating or it's not good for you. It's like, well, actually there can be some pretty good, some
I
benefits
also
from that.
just think it's like it's your choice. Do whatever you want.
Well, there's that too, for sure. Like, whatever.
We have a listener. Heather Cole is listening. She said, "This is why you pregame at home before you go out to dinner." Yes, but then you have to spend money on an Uber to get you there. So it's going to be a net neutral, right? Unless you have a DD, which I usually am just the DD.
Heather was, well, I guess she probably wouldn't have been there. Actually, I wasn't there, but I've heard about the story of you in Vancouver at the
We don't
bar
talk about that story.
because they wouldn't accept American money. And apparently Brad was pissed. He's like, he didn't understand why this place in Vancouver wouldn't accept American money. He's like, I just don't get it. Of course, this is coming from Jay, so I don't know how exaggerated the story is. He's probably like slightly exaggerating it to give you a hard time, but
I will throw myself under the bus and tell you as much of that story is appropriate for this show. So, I am not really a drinker, right? Like I just don't drink that much. And so my alcohol tolerance is relatively low. And nobody's surprised by that. But so we were in Vancouver for like a very, very early Macros Inc. meetup, and we went out to like some bar that was just right across the street from the hotel we were staying at. And one of our coaches at the time, now directors, Hannah, was there with her husband, Aaron. Love Aaron to death. He's like just one of the coolest people ever. But so at the time, we had a marketing director who was from the UK. And so while we were there, I was like, we have to give you like an American experience. So we're going to order PBR beers, right? Like it's the rodeo, like, so I'm like, okay. So I buy a tall boy, or like the 16-ounce, canned beers at this bar for myself and our marketing director. And I just start drinking it. And I usually like track my drinks. And so I was just drinking. And unbeknownst to me, every time my beer got like half empty, Hannah's husband, Aaron, ordered me a new one and told the waitress not to tell me and would just like swap them out when I was just, like talking to somebody not paying attention. So I ended up having way more than I thought.
That's great.
And then by the end of the night, I obviously had too many, and the waitress came to like give me the bill because I said I'd pick the tab up, and it was like, I don't know, like $40 or something Canadian. And so I was like, I'll leave her a tip, and I only had 20, so I like left $60 American, which was way more, which was like probably like
80 or something. Yeah.
And they like wouldn't take it, and I was mad.
Yeah.
But then I had to drive the 8-hour drive home the next day, and I was hungover, and it was terrible.
So, were you like legitimately? Would you say that you were drunk, or just like pretty tipsy? Not like you were. Oh God, I wish I could have been there to see that.
It's a good thing that I walked back to the hotel.
Oh man, yeah, that's I don't know. That story will go down in infamy. I just feel like
there's much more to that story that I'm not allowed to say on the show.
Okay, yeah, don't worry. I'll pull that out of you, or maybe I'll just ask Jay to tell me some extra juicy details.
I mean, I'll tell you off air, but it just can't be recorded.
No, that's fair
for lots of reasons.
Yeah, that was the one year that I couldn't make it. I can't remember why I couldn't make it, but I'll be damned because I wish I could have seen that. Yeah, that's what it was.
We uninvited you.
Yes. Yeah, correct. Well, you got anything else you want to talk about? Oh, my wife during the show, I don't know if anyone saw this, but she walked into my office and set this down. She got me some new cologne that I get to smell. I don't know what this. I don't know. It's good stuff.
I wonder if that's the same type of hint when someone's like, "Oh, would you like a piece of gum?"
Here, honey, you stink. No, because my wife would just tell me. She would just be like, "You don't smell good." She would just be honest with me. You got anything else you want to add? Any other listeners got anything for us?
I mean, the Zags had a huge win last night against Alabama, so I just feel like the whole world needs to know about that. Are
you ready to give your little man his first Thanksgiving experience? Is he all? I'm sure he's going to eat everything, right? Like,
dude,
the other day,
that baby eats more food than it's wild. He also will eat anything. Like, I don't know if I told you.
That's good.
If I read you this list.
Yes, I was. Yeah, that's what. Yes, the meeting the other day. You like the ingredients that you like. I thought maybe you were explaining what you found in a dumpster because that's how wide.
I'm glad that the first thing that comes to your mind when I tell you about my child is a dumpster.
No,
but this is what he ate in a given day. This baby's 9 months old. Blueberry, blackberry. And this is not like one of those pouches that has all the stuff in it. This is
like actual
blueberry, blackberry, banana, toast, butter. Okay, the butter was on the toast. Salmon, hummus, feta, peas, beets, ham, black olive, green onion, cheddar cheese, bacon, mushroom, and pepperoncinis.
I
just ate all of that in one day.
He's a stud. That's pretty awesome.
Crazy.
And the fact that he ate like just pure green onions, That's kind of wild.
He also now has worn his first cowboy hat.
Oh yeah. Have you had the chance to give him his first taste of a lemon?
Oh yeah.
Was it as funny as you had hoped it would be?
He made a little bit of a face, but then he wanted it, and so he ate the whole thing.
You aren't kidding. He really does eat everything. That's hilarious.
It's pretty wild.
What the?
Yeah.
Eating an entire lemon.
I'm a little bit nervous of like what he's gonna do.
Yeah. When he can actually eat someday and like eat you guys out of house and home.
Yeah. I'm already. Some people have like a college fund for their kids. I have a teenage grocery bill fund.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, it doesn't get any less expensive. Trying to feed 4 of them, so and they're still little, and my little man's only 5, and God, he's gonna be a menace. So I'll let you know how it goes. But yeah, so for anyone who celebrates Thanksgiving, happy early Thanksgiving to you all. I hope it goes well. I hope this episode.
And for those of you who don't, I hope you have an awesome Thursday.
Yes, that too. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you know what? Just go celebrate it anyway. You don't have to be American to celebrate it. Just have some turkey or ham or some.
Every day you're alive.
By the way, it's stuffing, not dressing, right?
I don't care.
No, the correct answer is it's stuffing. I will die on this hill. It's stuffing.
Well, somebody's going to die on that hill.
I got nothing else to add other than I should probably eat something. I haven't eaten anything yet today, so.
I literally had to scarf down food right before I got here.
Sorry to hear that you had to do that. I don't know. I got nothing else. Like I said, happy early Thanksgiving to anyone who's going to celebrate it, and happy early Thursday to anyone who's not. This really huge day happening on Friday at Macros Inc. So, just keep your eyes out. We got something pretty cool coming.
We have some very cool stuff coming.
I would say
if I can give you guys a little leak preview. Maybe.
I would say objectively, without giving anything away, like this isn't just hyperbole. This is the objective truth. These will be the most valuable Black Friday deals we've ever had. Like, that is just the truth. So I'm pretty pumped about that, and I can't wait for people to see.
Let me see if I can give you just a sneak peek real quick of something. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Shh. Don't tell anybody. This will be available for all people who sign up for Black Friday. Is this a Nutrition Foundations course? Yes, it is. Is it going to be available to all clients who sign up during Black Friday? Yes, it is. If you would like to know more, reach out to support@macrozinc.net.
It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be lit, as the kids say.
Litty as Litty gets.
Wait, before we duck out, I do have one question for you. Do you know what episode this was? What episode number?
60. I don't want a 67. You're not going to do it, are you? You're not going to do it.
You're going to do it.
No, I'm not. Nobody's allowed to do it. Nobody's allowed to do it.
Are you sure?
We're going to retitle this to not episode 67. Maybe we'll skip 67 and go straight to 68.
I feel like that fan's already dying, so we're probably at the tail end of this thing. So
I don't even know what it. All I know is my little niece did it all the time to me for like 2 weeks. So every time I saw her, I would just do it like every 30 seconds until she got so sick of it that she stopped doing it.
Did you do the hand juggle too? That's apparently what you're supposed to do with it.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to play our awesome Stranger Things outro music, and we'll be back next week at some point. Who knows when, but we'll be back. So, all right, people, enjoy us dancing as we say goodbye. Everyone have a wonderful day.